when you're writing something, of course, you're always thinking about the end product, what it's going to be like when it comes out, what people will think, what reviewers will think, if you'll be proud of it. But I found I couldn't make any decisions based on that. Creative, work-wise, whatever. I had to base decisions on my own taste, because it's the only thing I can control. It was theoretically what I was hired to do. And whether or not we're all having a good time at the end of the day. Because what else is there? Like, I just don't think that great reviews are worth a horrible work environment. I really don't.
Yeah.
And I don't think that they're mutually or that one leads to the other. I think you can have a great time making a show and be good to each other, realize we're at work, still do our work, but be good to one another and end up with a great product. I don't think, I don't buy into the, you have to be an asshole to be a genius thing.
Yeah.
I also don't think it takes a genius to make a show. Like, I really obviously was concerned about how it would be received. But if I was waiting until good reviews came in to be proud of it or to have a good time, man, I would be shit out of luck. I mean, we got some great reviews, but I read them and didn't feel fulfilled. I read them and was like, oh, season 2. Like, it's just a renewed anxiety. So my goal was always to have a good time getting there, to be proud of the product. You don't have a wrap party when the reviews come out. You have a wrap party because you're done with production and you all did it together.
I think we had like 3 wrap parties a season.
We sure did. And what also I think was hugely important was that it was during COVID.
Yeah.
None of us had worked. We were all just so happy to be around people, anybody. I was alone in an apartment most of the time in a town where I didn't know anybody else. I think it made us all really close, really fast.
Right.
In a great way, in a way that was confusing. Like I said, I've since learned to give less of myself to a job. But when you're not allowed to have a life.
Right.
You know, I'm trying to go a little bit easier on myself, knowing that I don't know what I would have done differently.
That was like going to work was our social life, which is a weird thing to say, but it's like nobody was going out to a bar because bars weren't open. You know,
and if you heard about someone going out to a bar, they were in trouble.
Oh, our trackers were hilarious. We had these little like Bluetooth trackers that we had to wear on our IDs.
Yeah.
No, the first season we had 2 different kinds of trackers, and I remember season 1 it was. I think it was our executive producer and our UPM. Their offices were within 6 feet of each other.
Oh my God, that's right. But there was a wall.
There was a concrete wall between them. But their trackers always like went off when they collected the data. They're like, "You got if one of you pops, you're both fucked." It's like, no, we're sitting in different rooms, but like it was talking to each other through. It was just this funny kind of thing.
So at this point in your time, when you're doing Kevin, your first time showrunner. Middle of COVID.
I should also say co-showrunner. Like, I had Craig next to me showing me how to do things, hearing me cry all the time.
You're co-show running this show, but you know there's a difference when you're writing this at home. Right? For like as much time as you want to take to formulate this idea in the show and put the world together versus being on set.
Oh yeah.
Right. So how does that dynamic work for you? What's those moments like?
Yeah, there suddenly becomes a lot of cooks in your kitchen. Where you were just making your soup by yourself there for months, and all of a sudden there's 50 people throwing ingredients in.
But when we end this?
Yeah. Well, the really funny thing is, I don't know that everybody thinks they could light a show. But everyone thinks they are a writer. I'll tell you that.
Or a costumer.
Goddamn costume
Everybody
designer.
thinks they're a costume designer, too.
Well, that's true.
Everybody can write a great script and pick out a great outfit.
That's right.
Yeah.
I've read books.
And here's the thing I understand, because like you said, you get a production draft and you just assume this is like draft number 2. You don't know the arguments, the discussions, the network notes, the production like issues that have led to the words on the page. I felt like by the time we got to set, I knew why every line was there. It all served a purpose. So to change stuff, I had a hard time a lot of times, and I hope I got better at it.
What version of the script were you on at this point?
It depends. If it was, do you mean like the pilot?
Yeah, just from where you originated to where. I
recently looked, so I am shocking.
Double salmon.
I am anally like retentive about my organization on my computer. So I have a pilot drafts folder. It is so long. I also keep something called a graveyard, where when I delete something from a script, I will put it into what I call like the Kevin pilot graveyard. So that if I ever am like, oh, that belongs back in, I word search within that thing and I find the bit and I put it back in. That document by the end, I think, was about 145 pages.
Wow. So we have way more seasons. We can repitch this.
We can repitch the show.
Go back to the garbage. I think that one can work now.
So now you're on set.
On set. And let me also say, you write alone in a dark little room in your pajamas by yourself.
Turn the light on.
If you do that, no, I'm like a vampire. It hurts. If you do that well enough, a company gives you $40 million and puts you in charge of 300 people and says, congratulations. Those two skill sets, managing money and writing, are often they don't go together. Like, being a great writer does not mean you're a great manager. I tried very hard. I actually really enjoyed it. I hope I was good at it.